Hello, welcome to WGSN-DB Going Solo Network. You are listening to GoingBoldMedia.com, where all of the experts are right there going bold. So make sure you check out all of their information, all our wonderful hosts and guests. We've got all of their information, their links right there. We want to make sure that you take advantage of that. Well, today we are on the Link to Expert Goodreads Authors Corner. I am Cece Schatz, just one of the hosts here. I'm the doyenne of relationship building. And I have my good friend here, Joanne Weiland.
Joanne Weiland, Link to Expert, Weiland When You Can Fly. And I'm the founder of a collaborative cloud community called Link to Expert. Welcome, everyone.
It's great to have you. Well, we've got a terrific author here today, so I'll let Joanne go ahead and do the introductions.
Well, Lea Chapin is our new guest today, and we are so thrilled to have her and to talk about her new book. But the most important part of it, I really feel like this woman is incredible. I've been blessed to know Lea Chapin for, I forgot to look it up, but I really do think it's at least 5 or 10 years. And I learn from her every week. I'm on one of her Monday morning calls, her Mary Magdalene calls. And I really encourage you to get to know Lea. And today we're going to talk about it. But I did want to let you know that even though she has a master's degree in counselor education and a Bachelor of Science in psychology and over 40 years combined experience as a psychotherapist, spiritual counselor, teacher, and motivational speaker, author, massage therapist, healing energy practitioner, and an associate pastor. That sounds like a mouthful. But what I want you to know that I feel like is the difference between Lea and most people. There is so many people that might also say that they have 40 years experience in something, but they usually do the exact same thing over and over. And so that, in my opinion, they only have 40 years of 1 year experiences because they really do something over and over similar. And that's fine if that's what they're happy with. But Lea, I am here to tell you, is so different because of the fact that she takes all these things that I just mentioned, incorporates them, different ones at different times, and constantly is evolving, constantly is challenging herself, not just with writing 4 books now, but also like traveling, going to these spiritual sites, learning from them, learning from others, working with others, and incorporating so many of these modalities to make herself totally unique, totally evolved, because she's never satisfied with just being who she was, but she's always evolving into who she's really designed to be. So welcome, Lea. We're so grateful you're on the show today.
Oh, thank you for having me. That was so sweet of you, Joanne. Yes, I can't be bored. I'm always reinventing myself. So I'm so happy to be here.
And I'm really so happy that you're here. And I also think it's really interesting because Lea also had a radio show for, what was it, like 7 years?
Yeah, 8 years.
8 years. And as everybody probably knows that's been watching our show, Cece's been doing it for 12 years and started with radio. And I just think it's fascinating because a lot of people, again, 8 years ago, really didn't have their own show. And while that might, not be as unique today, but these two women really were pioneers when it came to that too. And especially even being a woman, because back then, most of the radio shows, the hosts were men. And so my hat goes off to both of you for being trailblazers, even with the media. So I just thought that was interesting too, to know how you did that back then. And I think you went into a studio, because I was actually on your show a couple times. Or did you guys do it live? Or I'm trying to remember, Lea.
I used to go in the studio in Sarasota.
Yeah, that's what I thought, that we had to go to Sarasota.
Radio Air Network. I was on from 2007 to 2015.
And yes, we would go in, and now, like, all of us are in different parts, of the country, and we can all just log in using StreamYard. So it is interesting how even technology evolves and stuff like that. And there's nothing against going into the studio, but this just makes it more convenient for us to be able to have people from all over the country or the world be on our show. So Lea, speaking of all over the world, I just thought we would also talk about not just your book, but like some of your adventures. I mean, you are literally incredible. I know recently you were in Mount Shasta again, and but there's other places. I know you've been to Egypt and all over the Middle East and everything. And also the reason it's so important, she takes that and incorporates it into other things and actually even shares her experiences live, or maybe they're not always live, but you upload the videos about these different places you go, which also is interesting because of the fact you not only do it, you share it with the world. So would you mind telling us about some of your, what I would call adventures, and which one you want to talk about first? I'll leave that up to you.
Well, yes, I've had many adventures. I recently came back from Mount Shasta, California. It was my 4th time there. And a part of that work has to do with my book, Sarah, Sacred Wisdom, Teachings of Goddess, the Goddess of Peace. And so that journey there was life-changing for me. In 2016, well, I'll preface that, I was completing my Divine Union book, The Love Story of Jesus and Mary Magdalene. And I was called to go to Mount Shasta, California, and to complete that work there. There was what we call a etheric temple that is a Divine Union temple, where the Lemurians in that particular civilization over 12,000 years ago had a temple, a marriage ceremony temple. And I was told that there was an etheric temple on this ridge near Lake Shastina, near Weed, California, in Mount Shasta. And so I was called there to do an activation of the divine feminine, divine masculine energies to bring balance back into all of our lives here in humanity. And so I did that activation in 2016, and then I completed my Divine Union book in 2017. Then I was called back to go back to Mount Shasta after I completed the Sacred Wisdom book with Sarah's book last year, to go back to Shasta in September of this year and go back to that same etheric temple and actually bring the energy of that sacred union from that temple to the surface of the planet to bring balance back to our planet and back to humanity. So every time I do travels, I have what we call a mission that I'm called forth to complete. And so I took a group of 7 women there, and we worked at the etheric temple. And that journey, that retreat was life-changing in the sense that I feel more at peace, I feel more balanced, I feel more connected to myself, and I feel like I've really connected really to my true self. And I'm just feeling a real sense of completion, because as I've worked with the Sarah book now for several years now, and as I completed this book in June of 2022, it is about returning to peace. It's about returning to balance. So actually going to that Sacred Union Temple in Mount Shasta, California, and really being in that site and absorbing that energy and activating that energy within me and then sending it out to the world was really life-changing. It's a little bit hard to explain, but it was an amazing activation that's been life-changing for me personally.
As well as many others that were with you there in Mount Shasta, as well as many that just witnessed it, again, via video or audio or reading about it, because you do share the experiences with us, and that's priceless, because not all of us can maybe go there wherever you are on that adventure at that time, but we can also tune in later. And so I always love that you share those types of experiences in different ways with us, so that, if we weren't able to go with you on the retreat or whatever, that we can also experience it. So thank you for always making that available to us as well.
Yeah, that's on my YouTube channel. So that was the original intention when I first started doing those sacred journeys back in 2018 with my friend Jared Willis, and we went to 8 countries in 2018. That was the intention, to go to these sacred sites, do this activation work, and be able to share it with the public through my YouTube channel.
Right. And which countries, or do you remember some of them? I'm trying to remember some of them, just because I think that's really so amazing too, that you did that.
Well, I originally went to Kuwait, where my friend Jared was. And we went to Jordan, we went to the Dead Sea, we went to Turkey, we went to Egypt with the pyramids. I did an activation in the Great Pyramid, the Pyramid of Giza. That's documented on my YouTube channel. We went to Cyprus, we went to India, we were in Oman. And so that year was, I don't do astrology, but if someone looked at my astrology chart, they probably would have told me I would have been traveling that year, because that was an amazing year.
It was. And thank God you, at that time of your life, and I mean, Jared's still in your life, but I mean that you were able to travel with him because of the fact that he was very much in tune with that area of the world. And it really helped you to be able to focus on what you do best. Kind of like we always talk about, eliminate a lot of this stuff that you don't need to do and hire somebody to do it. And I'm not saying you hired Jared, but he was right there to do a huge part of it that you were not familiar with. And I thought that was brilliant too, that he was, willing to help because he believes in you so much. I know he's like a son to you, and that's really key there too, so that you could focus on the activations and stuff instead of trying to figure out where to go, where to stay, and who to even talk to make things happen. Like even going in the pyramid, it's not open to everybody. You have to know who to talk to be able to get into the pyramid.
Yeah, we had an hour. We attempted to have an hour. Let's put it that way, where we paid privately to be into the King's Chamber for an hour privately. So yes, Jared was amazing as my tour guide. So yes, I felt very comfortable and very protected with him.
Mm-hmm.
And
then share all of this in your books, which is fabulous.
What'd you say, Cece?
I said, and then coming back and then sharing all of this in your books, with us, the Sacred Wisdom Teachings of Sarah, Goddess of Peace. Yeah, I think it's great to be able to do that.
It's been a journey, that's for sure. So go ahead, Joanne.
No, I said she shares it in different ways, and it's true. And I really think that it would be cool to share with our listeners and viewers also what the sacred balance really means. I consider it like with the masculine and the feminine, but I'd like you to kind of hit on that as well, because I think that is something that not everybody realizes about the sacred balance.
Well, I have to preface this with I've been a direct oracle for the Holy Family since 1997. I started channeling in 1993, so I'm a versatile channel. And I'm able to receive information from spirit, from the ascended masters, the archangels, from our galactic brothers and sisters. And so I'm also a psychic medium, but I've been doing this work for over 30 years. And a part of the work that I started with in 1997 was I started channeling the Holy Family, which brought me to my first book, which I published in 2005, called The 12 Mastery Teachings, The True Essence of Christ's Teachings. So when Christ started coming to me and talking about helping people to be at balance, to find balance and peace and happiness and joy within their life, this book really was the beginning of that work of finding balance, to be able to really find that sense of peace and joy within our lives that Christ had taught over 2,000 years ago. And then in 2017, I published the Divine Union book, The Love Story of Jesus and Mary Magdalene, which then led to the story of coming into partnership with yourself, coming into sacred union with yourself, finding balance with yourself, returning to wholeness with yourself, or what we call returning to oneness. So that book is about their love story, but essentially that book is a portal to peace, and it's also a portal to coming into sacred union with yourself, meaning that you are coming into balance with those aspects of yourself that are needing to be healed or to be whole. So as we come in as a spirit, my understanding is that we have the aspects of our divine masculine and our divine feminine, our right brain and our left brain, but we also have the aspects of the divine masculine, divine feminine aspects of ourselves that we're really trying to balance, to bring into union so that we can be at peace and be centered. Where the divine masculine, maybe we may talk about it, is in many ways out of balance now on our planet with what we call the patriarchal rule, where the energy of the male energy is dominant, forceful in many ways, where that energy is out of balance, where the sacred feminine energy, perhaps in her ways of being out of balance, is being submissive or passive or not being able to speak our truth. And yet when we come into that balance of the divine masculine, it's about having strong leadership, being able to take action, but in a very strong and gentle way, as well as the balance of the sacred feminine, where she's coming into her strength, coming into her compassion, her kindness, her willingness to be gentle strength. So two parts of ourselves, maybe we might find ourselves being overly feminine or being too aggressive in our masculine nature, or allowing ourselves to come into that where the masculine can support the feminine can support the masculine, where we can really come into, we can really feel comfortable and confident and feeling good in our own skin.
Right.
Really being at peace, where we feel settled, where there's that energy of that balance inside of ourselves, where that's where we're not being triggered by external influences, but we can now come into our life in a more gentle, strong way of being.
You know, and so many people have wanted this, you know, when they create this balance and they feel so out of sorts. And I hear it over and over and over again with everything that we do here on our channel, you know, connecting with those that are, you know, struggling in relationships and trying to move forward in their lives. And that is the one thing that I hear over and over is, how do I create some sort of balance in my life? They feel they're off. And we do it in business too. We feel the same thing. And again, that's the masculine side, because we're, you know, so busy into trying to build our business that we sometimes lose that feminine side of us. And so it's creating that balance. And I think we all strive for it, each and every one of us, you know. So
Well, I think most people want to be happy and peaceful, but it's elusive.
mhm.
And we don't know how to achieve it. That's why when Sarah came forward, Sarah is the daughter of Jesus and Mary Magdalene. She is that sacred union of their love, but she is also is known as the missing Holy Grail.
Mhm.
So this story of Sarah's book teaches us how to return to balance. This book is actually a portal to balance. If you have this book in your presence, if you have it in your home, you have it you know, on your by your bedside, wherever you might put it, it's actually a portal that will help you to be at peace. When I moved into this house that I'm living in now 2 years ago, before I completed the Sarah book, I invoked the energy of Sarah and the energy of peace into my home. And people can, when they walk into my home, they really feel that energy is peaceful and palpable. They can actually feel it. People are now telling me now, and I feel that shift within myself, by working with the Sarah book and the Sarah energy and invoking that energy within my life. And particularly since I've written the book, and that came out in June of 2022. And then since the retreat in September of 23, just a couple months ago, I really feel this sense of deep peace within me and balance. I've always been one who's had difficulty with suffering with anxiety to some degree. And in my earlier days, I had mood disorder and anxiety. And now it's like I feel really calm and peaceful and not affected by external sources, and really being able to stand up for myself and be able to make that decision for myself. Where do I want to put my attention? What brings me peace? And where in those aspects of my life that don't bring me peace and joy? So this book really is a way to help you to do that. There are activations in here. There are actually what we call flames that we work with that help you to invoke these frequencies to help bring them actually mentally, emotionally, physically, energetically into your life, to be able to change your energy so that you can be able to be at peace. That's really what I want to teach now and focus on, because the world is chaotic. And as we know, with so much imbalance in the world, with globally and also with humans. It begins with each person at a time, that we begin to place our attention on helping ourselves to be in balance, and then we can be the change we wish to see, and it becomes palpable, and then other people will want to know what it is that you're doing so that they can achieve that as well.
Exactly. So after the break, because I know we have to go to break now, but let's talk more about that, because I really think that's the core of for everybody to be in balance, like Cece said, and the peace is priceless.
Yeah,
So.
absolutely. Well, before we do that, I want to make sure that everyone can reach out to you. Of course, you can go to the linktoexpert.com, go to Lea, and it's Lee, it's Leac, and her last name is CHAPIN.linktoexpert. If you want to send her an email, just go to LEACHAPIN@gmail.com. And then if you want to buy these books, which is very important, and I think you should definitely, you're looking at trying to find some sort of peace in your life, find some sort of direction in your life. It's always good to, you've heard me say this time and time again, you got to feed your well, right? You got to keep reading, keep a good positive information within you. And so go to her website, which is LEACHAPIN, her name, Lea Chapin, and it's .com, and it's / the shop, and then /. So go to the website, you'll find it under shop, and then all of her books are right there. You can just buy them. Now, are they also on Amazon and places like that?
They are.
Okay, so you can go on Amazon too. And but we like to direct you to our website because there's always more information there that you might be able to get and be able to take away with you. So do that. And if you want to go to Amazon, you can go to Amazon, buy the books. We don't care. We love it. Just go ahead and do it. Buy the book. That's what's important to us. So we will be right back. You guys are listening to the Link to Expert Goodreads Authors Corner. I am Cece Schatz. I have my good friend Joanne Weiland here with me. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm John Thomas. I want to share with you a professional products and services directory we call Going Solo Directory. And you need to check this out. If you want exposure to your business or are seeking professional product or services, this directory has it all. And that membership, for the many special features, you get the benefit of a worldwide exposure with a 40-minute video interview on an international business show showcase. All this for just one low annual fee. For more information, contact GoingSoloDirectory.com.
Welcome back to Link to Expert Goodreads Authors Corner. I am Cece Schatz, and I have my good friend Joanne Weiland here with me. You're listening to the GoingBoldMedia.com. So all of our wonderful information is right there, all of our hosts and guests, and make sure that you go there and check out all of their information. But today we have a tremendous lady here with us. We're talking about her latest book, Sacred Wisdom, Teachings of Sarah, Goddess of Peace. And we're talking about peace and really finding that balance with yourself. And she's done a lot of research, and you've written several books, and this is just your latest book. And so we've really moved forward in time. And so we've been talking a lot about really finding that balance within yourself. And so it's a great to be able to have you here with us. And again, let's make sure you guys know how to reach her. It's Lea Chapin. It's LEACHAPIN @gmail.com. And then check out her website, which is again her name, LEACHAPIN.com. Check out her website. And all of the books are there that you can purchase them. So what are we talking about the second part of the show? We're talking a little bit more about the balance, right? That we all crave and want and desire in our lives, and we don't know how to get it. So Lea, you're going to share a little bit more with us on that, aren't you?
Well, one of the thoughts that I have was it really hasn't anything to do with reading a book. It has to do with shifting our energy and shifting our vibration. So as a channel, as an energy healing practitioner, it's all about our frequencies. And that's really what Sarah's work is about. It's about helping us to invoke the energy and the vibration of peace. Because originally in my 12 Mastery Teachings book, one of the essence teachings, the last one before we go into joy, is peace. And this vibration of peace is really a viable and palpable frequency. When we set the intention that we really want to be at peace and to find joy and happiness within our life, then our guides, our master teachers, and our higher self will help us to energetically shift our vibration and our energy into peace. Mm-hmm. It's not something that you can just read a book and get to. It's a matter of, I truly want to invoke this vibration. And just like I said before, as I'd called Sarah into my home when I completed that book in my home in the winter of 2021 and into the spring and the summer of January 22, that work of sitting with Sarah for 6 months and completing that book, I could really feel a shift in my own vibration. I could feel myself shifting and changing. And I'm now able to clear things that have troubled me, that I've been troubled with for quite some time. And like I said before, people actually tell me that they feel the peace around me. They feel my calmness. They feel my centeredness. And I really feel it. So this is about shifting your vibration and energy into a place where you can truly find that level of what I call comfort within yourself, moving into what we call your true authentic self, into your true spirit, which is that connection to the God essence. We come as souls onto this earth plane to learn many lessons, but we're also here to invoke the energy of what I call our I am presence, our God essence, and the energy of oneness into our life so that we can live in balance in our life, that we can live in peace within our life, that we can truly be physical, spiritual beings on this earth plane. And for many, we may call them earth angels, that we are here really living in this sacred union with ourselves and understanding how to live on the earth in a peaceful, comfortable, and happy way, that we can move through those distractions of our own emotions, our own thought forms, our own traumas in our past. A part of the work that I do as a spiritual psychotherapist or a spiritual counselor is I work with people individually and help them to understand the higher spiritual perspective of their life challenges. And so people call me for individual readings like they would as a therapist, but I channel the information and help them to understand their life issues so they can be at peace, they can find happiness, they can find that spiritual connection to themselves and have that higher wisdom and understanding from a higher perspective, the things that are troubling them. That's one way that if people are listening, that they can access this and take a look at where they are out of balance. And I typically work with the Ascended Masters. I work with Archangel Michael a great deal, and he will come in and help bring that information to that person where they're out of balance and help them. And then as we work with Sarah's work, we work with Christ's teachings work, as we understand, again, the energy of sacred union within ourselves and really being able to take a look at those places within ourselves that need to be healed or out of balance. Those are, these 3 books will help you to move through that. But first, I would make that suggestion if anybody wants to or has the need to really find or understand the higher spiritual perspective of their life challenges and problems, as you may call them, that an individual reading is really the beginning point of moving into this level of work with peace with Sarah.
That's wonderful. Yeah, because it is true. I mean, so often we have, like I said, we've got the Going Solo media, and we've got, all those that are in the Going Solo network. They're all traveling through, trying to really start moving forward in their lives. And, often I say to them, it is a choice, it's a choice that we make, to be able to move yourself into the positive, being able to go that. But you can't always do that alone. Sometimes you do need to have someone to help you and show you the way a little bit. And so I think that if anyone out there is really looking for something like that, looking for to be able to get the peace, maybe have the raise your vibration level, which is what you want, because if you want to attract others into your life, you want to be at the highest, at the best, at your best, at your authentic self. And so definitely to contact Lea to be able to get that information and be able to start taking that your own personal journey on being able to do that. So again, if you want to do a reading, just reach out to her Gmail, which is Lea Chapin. It's LeaChapin@gmail.com. And then go and get the books, because I think it's a good starting point in not only having a reading with you, but to also start, like I said, feeding your well, start bringing this positive information in. And sometimes you have to walk the walk a little bit, don't you, Lea? You've got to be able to start doing the positive steps that's going to bring you to the place that you want to be. And so reading the positive book, starting to understand more about your life, about your past, about, where you're going in the future is always important. So, and having someone like yourself that's going to help move us forward, and so that we can better understand what our purpose in life is. So awesome. Yeah, you can't ask for anything better, right?
Thank you for that. Joanne knows, because she's been following my work for a long time. She's a part of my Monday morning call that I've been probably doing for 15 years, where I channel the universal teachings of Mary Magdalene and Joshua, and it is helping us to move forward in understanding our lives and in sharing insights of what's happening around the world, and helping us to make sense of ourselves and what's happening within the world. But Joanne, I know that you particularly studied my 12 Mastery Teachings books. I didn't know if you just wanted to share something real quick about that, as Cece was making that point of how to help yourself, because I know that you studied that and that really makes a difference for you.
I do, and I continue to, because I feel like whatever we're doing, if we really want to perfect it, we really do need to revisit it and make sure we're incorporated into our life. And I think with that book, that what's helped me so much too from Christ's teachings is that you have to learn the difference between what you think you need and what you want. Because a lot of times when we focus on what we think we need, we actually are more than we realize affected by other people's needs. Like if they think that you need, just for an example, to write a book, and maybe that's not what you're called to do, and you want to instead have a podcast show, just as an example. I really feel like so many times we're scared to ask what we really want, and that holds us back from getting what we really want and to be all we're designed to be, when we allow others to influence us by what they think we need to do to be successful. And when we do things like have readings with Lee also has not just the Monday morning call, but other teachings too throughout the month that I'd love you to share, because I feel like these are ways that we do open ourselves, like with Christ's book, that the 12 teachings, I mean, is priceless to me. That is actually literally my favorite book that I've ever read, and I've read over 1,000 books. And then to also then, because you can actually read one of those, if you will, every day. And just because of the fact that it really gets ingrained into you, and you really do get to learn what your real purpose is, what you're really here designed to do, and be at peace with it. Because if you really do what you're called to do and be incorporated into your life and be one with it, that peace that Lee's talking about is there. Because so many times the peace isn't there because we're not really being authentic and being true to ourselves. We're still trying to please our mom or our dad or our friend or our husband or wife. And it sounds silly, but more than you realize, you can do that. So the more you learn about yourself and go inward with these types of, whether it's a reading, whether it's a teaching, whether it's reading the book, it helps you consistently evolve and grow into who you really are designed to be and not be afraid to be that person. So I was thinking you could talk a little bit about some of the trainings and teachings you do to
Show that book again one more time, the book you were talking about.
The
That
12
book,
called-
the first one. Yeah.
The 12 Mastery Teachings of Christ, the true
Yeah.
essence of Christ teachings. I'll answer that here in a second, Joanne, what you want
Sure.
about the process, but I wanted to step back to let you know that the work that I do with Christ, these are not religious teachings. These are the essence of his teachings. These are like the core essence of what he was sharing and trying to share 2,000 years ago. It has nothing to do with religion. This all has to do with self-empowerment and self-enlightenment. And I'll go over them real quickly, which is why I asked Joanne to share
Sure.
that. She studies it because the first lesson is love and the last lesson of joy. So we have love, power, truth, oneness, enlightenment, forgiveness, hope, faith, rejuvenation, remembrance, peace, and joy. And to be able to unconditionally love ourselves. Most of us are not able to unconditionally love ourselves. These are true vibrations, true frequencies. And as this is like a small book, and I remember when I wrote it, I channeled it and then I put it into book form. And when I got the book in my office, it was so little. And I remember thinking, oh my goodness, this book is so small. I did all this work. And I remember hearing Christ tell me, do not berate the book. This book is very powerful. It's like a bedside manual where the teachings are, the lessons are very short, but they're the frequency, the vibration to help us to learn to find peace, to find joy, to find unconditional love. This is a tool, just like Sarah's book is activation to help us to shift from a place of fear into love, but also to help to empower us. And so that we can really return back to the true essence of our original spirit, which is being in balance and in oneness with our I am presence. The other classes that I teach 6 classes a month. I teach every Monday morning, unless I'm traveling, the Mary Magdalene and Joshua teachings. As I said, they're universal teachings. I've been doing it for probably 15 years. And then once a month, I channel the Essenes. When I was in Jordan, when I was at the Dead Sea, the Essenes came to me there, and I heard them say, "We've been waiting for you." And to my surprise, I was like, "Oh, you've been waiting for me." I'm like, "Oh, okay." So I had to go to the Dead Sea to hear the Essenes speak to me. And then they wanted to bring their message monthly. And so I do a small, or I do a channeled message from the Essenes once a month from the Essenes. And they're helping us to understand our lifetime. Many of us are former Essenes that are feeling to find their tribe again, that there were many of us who lived in the lifetime of Christ and during that time, and many of us lived as Cathars as well. And so a lot of us are feeling that connection to reconnect to our tribe again. That's part of why I bring the Essene message. And then last year I was called to bring the message from Mother Mary called the Sisterhood of the Rose, the women, the goddesses and priestesses that live both in Atlantis, but particularly Lemuria, the civilization of Lemuria. And so once a month I bring Mother Mary's message to help empower and help others to remember their lifetime as the priestesses and the goddesses from both Lemuria, Atlantis, and the Egyptian times. And so all of this work is universal teachings. It's self-empowerment. It's helping us to, again, move out of our own way to be able to find that sense of reconnecting ourselves to our true self. And so many people really are opening up to their spiritual gifts and talents and to their true soul mission and their pathway, and opening up their psychic and intuitive abilities and really being able to become centered and calm and really step into their true essence. And so that's really why I do this, is to help empower people, to help them to awaken, to help enlighten people. As Spirit always says, each one teach one, each one lead one. And so that's what I do, is just really try to share what I am being gifted with others to help empower others to be the best they can be.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
Well, Lea Chapin, we're so grateful that you're here. We're so grateful that you share all your tremendous insights. And unfortunately, it's time to close. But is there anything last minute? I love the each one teach one, each one lead one. each one lead one, each one teach one. So is there anything else you'd like to quick share with our viewers and listeners?
I just want to say that as we're living in these times, and we know that there's troubled times, that try not to place your attention on what's external. Really place your attention on what you can do to make a change in the world. Try not to get connected to the externals out there and all the fear and all the chaos, and really turn within, find that place of peace within yourself. And as I say, mind your own store and be able to bring your gifts and talents forward to others, because you will make a difference. Your vibration will make a difference. And if you stay centered and grounded, you will make a difference in this world.
That's
Excellent.
right.
Excellent.
You can find all this information on Link to Expert as well as her website, both websites. That's what's important to have both. But all this information is always posted on Link to Expert as well, on leachapin.linktoexpert.com. That's Lea Chapin, Chapin .linktoexpert.com. And her Gmail, if you want to contact her for a reading, Lea Chapin again, Lea Chapin, Chapin @gmail.com.
So thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you. This has been a wonderful show. So thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. All right. Have a blessed day.
You too. Thank you.
So again, everyone, her latest book is Sacred Wisdom, Teachings of Sarah, Goddess of Peace. And of course, you can find it right there on her website, leachapin.com. Just go under shop and you can get the book there, or go on Amazon.com and buy it. But don't make sure you get it. And makes a wonderful gift. So we're coming up to, any holiday, if you're listening to this, you can give it off as a present. It would be a great gift to give someone. So everyone, you're listening to Link to Expert Goodreads Authors Corner. I am Cece Schatz, and I have my good friend here, Joanne Weiland, with me. And we'll see you next week. Bye for now.